Hello and welcome to this episode of the PA System. Today I'm talking with Mel Trumble about how to stop squandering opportunities because of self-doubt. So welcome to the show, Mel.
Thank you so much for having me on the show.
It's great to have you here. This is such an amazing topic. So this is going to be a lot of fun and I can't wait to jump in. But before we do that, for those who are listening and may not know who you are, tell us a little bit about who you are, what you did before you became a coach, and how you found your calling.
All right. So before I became a coach, my profession was, drum roll please, tax accounting. I know, very exciting. Contain your jealousy. So I did that for several decades. I was director of finance for a company, and I decided to write a book because I was coming out of a second failed marriage, because apparently I could not be taught at that time. And I realized humblingly that I was the common denominator, that I was recreating the chaos from my abusive childhood, from, all of the mistakes that I had made were because of my script, my subconscious script, just because it's what I did yesterday. And, I've been in therapy my whole life. I'm neurodivergent. I've dealt with ADHD, the autism, suicidal depression. And so I have been in therapy and I knew that I could be better, but I didn't understand why therapy hadn't really worked. And then it was brilliant. I discovered mindset work, and it just accelerated the whole process. It made so much sense to me because I'll get into that in a second with the self-doubt stuff. And so then that's why I decided to write my book, was to explain how you can change for the better. And then I was completely burnt out on taxes and actually got sacked. And I'm like, you know what? This is a gift. Let's do this. I'd already published the book. I already had some coaching clients just because I thought it was fun. Yeah. And so I, developed a more formal program.
Wow. So what was that like to make that transition?
Delightful. It was so good. I was late to the resignation party, the layoff party, but it was really nice to understand that I can do professionally something that really sparks me. I've always sort of peripherally been like, oh, that's nice when people would wax poetic about how much they love their job. But yeah, this is really fun.
Well, we all know over the past few years, a lot of people have made a similar transition. And so I always love when I get to talk to people who have done that, because I think that there's so much that you learn through that kind of a process. So what did you really take away from that?
Once again, my resiliency was confirmed. I've always been able to know that I can get through things without having the details, of exactly how that's going to work or what it's going to look like. So it was really, I'm trying not to be cheesy, but it was definitely sort of a butterfly coming out of the chrysalis moment, because I honestly woke up feeling excited about the day and all of these things that I'd read in books and in interviews, and just been like, oh, please. But it's really possible. And we have the power to give ourselves permission to make that change.
That's so good. And so I know you talk about a lot of different things in your coaching, but obviously one of them is this topic of not squandering opportunities. And it sounds like you didn't squander that opportunity.
No, definitely.
Right? To make a change. And I think that's a really important point, because when we're faced with those things that seem like they could be obstacles or problems, they really could be opportunities, correct?
Oh, absolutely. Always. There's always an opportunity and there's always a lesson.
Yeah. So taking that away, obviously the lessons that you learned were pretty poignant. How do you help other people to learn not to squander those types of opportunities as well?
Well, avoiding wasting our gifts is
Mm.
something that should be second nature to us just as human beings. Unfortunately, our wiring is such that we're always on the lookout for dangers. So that negative voice, the self-doubt, the inner critic, it's actually trying to keep us safe. And since we were safe yesterday doing whatever it was we did, well, let's not change a thing. And as we all know, the best things in life involve change, right? Every new beginning is a change, and you lose something and you move into something else. And identifying what it is exactly that is causing you to doubt, your ability to do something or your capability, whatever it is that the opportunity is presenting, and you're challenging yourself that like, no, I can't do that. No, because what if you could? Just
Yeah.
what if, right? And when we understand the causes, because yes, we all got failures, we've all had negative feedback, we have compared less than favorably with other people at various points in our lives. And on that note, I'll say we never know the full picture of that. So, that's no bueno. And it's a lot of it is fear of the unknown. It could be fear of success or fear of failure. And that inner critic is just desperately trying to keep us safe and still and where we were. And that means that we're going to have missed opportunities, our self esteem plummet, anxiety up. That's never anybody's cocktail for a good day. And we can overcome it, of course, because once we identify what the patterns are, that's key. Then we can reframe that negative self talk and we can make it actually into affirmations, like, oh, you can't do that. You've never done it before. Ooh, I've never done that before. I get to figure that out. And there's the flip side of any fear coin is excitement and love. And so when we consistently reframe and tell ourselves, I am this, not that, I am success, I am not failure, and we can rewrite that subconscious programming and we can gentle that inner critic. But we have to be consistent, right? We have to treat ourselves kindly, consistently. We have to forgive ourselves for mistakes. And we have to really, really have positive affirmations and be willing to repeat them out loud
Mm.
ad nauseum.
Yeah, I think those are such great tips. What are some other ways that we can help ourselves in that process? Because I think it's not necessarily second nature, right?
Oh, no, it's not. We have to teach ourselves these things. And as with anything, as you would if you were teaching another person, you would give them grace for making mistakes and, falling back a bit and not being able to execute consistently. So let's do that for our own selves, of course. And also, one of my favorites is just to visualize what being successful at this opportunity, or possibility, whatever it is that your kind of inner critic is recoiling from and you're kind of wanting to do. What if it were successful? What would that look like? What would it feel like? And step back from that and reverse engineer it and take a little step towards it. How does that feel? You didn't perish, so perhaps take another step, do another little thing. And any large achievement is the culmination of numerous little steps. But if we just keep the momentum moving forward, okay, and as maybe some opportunities expire or change or are not what we thought, okay, great, we learn from that. And that's exciting. So we have more data. We know more about ourselves because that's what the past is, right? That's that whole library of proof of our resiliency, of our achievements, of what we can do, what we can learn. And then we can be in the present with that knowledge to fortify us and to be consistent in taming that inner voice and replacing it with a more reality based script, right? Not that you're always wrong, not that you can't do anything,
Sure.
we
Yeah.
can incorporate these positive affirmations into our daily life
Right.
and visualize it, make a vision board. I'm biased because, I teach people how to do that, but it's very effective because
Yeah.
it's in your face and it reminds you this is what you want. What if you go get it?
Yeah, and the thing that came to me too while you were saying that is just that our tendency is to focus on the way things have been,
Yeah,
right? That piece of the past. And, believing that the future is going to look like the past.
exactly. And things can be different in ways that we do not expect. And that can lead us to something that leads us to something. And then all of a sudden, success that you didn't even envision happens. I mean, I I have clients. I know that I have wisdom to share, but it's a different thing to know and sit with my own self-doubt preventing me from sharing, and then to let people know like, hey, this is what I do. And if you're overwhelmed or like whatever you're trying to do in your business or in your personal life, you know, reframe it and put yourself in there like you're already doing it. And it's wild. It's absolutely wild how much control we have over our current reality, over where we're going. You don't have to move to Paris to have a fun romantic season. It truly is within us, right in here. We can direct ourselves and we can rewrite all the negative into something that celebrates who we are and the gloriousness of our miraculous being. I mean, negative self-talk, that's just the manifestation of self-doubt. And we challenge it. Like, am I really not good enough to do that? I've done it for my own life. What do you mean? Right?
Right.
Right. Absolutely, because our subconscious, our conscious, our everything recognizes, oh, this is where we are now. Mm, okay. And then the trick is what patterns have you successfully replaced, and being not vigilant, but just be aware of if that self-doubt is, costuming itself as something else and coming back, right? Because I worked, like, for instance, I worked really, really hard on having personal relationships, friendships, all kinds of relationships that were authentic and true and based in love. And so that I feel very solid with. And then, the self doubt will be like, okay, we can't do anything with that, but we can certainly, challenge her on femininity, or, whether she is a good enough auntie to her beloved niece or nephew, or, like all of these things. And then you're right down the rabbit hole again. And we can reframe that every single time.
Yeah, so good. Just that one little piece of it. There's something really powerful about reframing. So, can you just talk about that a little bit and how you use that with your clients?
Oh, absolutely. When, uh, okay, two things. Ask why from a place of curiosity. Okay, we've all been burnt by the incessant whys, especially of our young ones. But if you're asking yourself, why do I think that? Then getting to the root of why you think you cannot. And sometimes it's amorphous and you're just like, oh, gosh, why do I think I can't? And you can be like, well, I can. And when it's difficult, if you're looking at something, giving a keynote speech, doing something that you hadn't done before, and it's overwhelming and daunting, and you're just like, oh, I don't know. What if? Just ask yourself, what if it could work? What if I could be successful doing that? And then that's sort of the training wheels to directly confront and challenge yourself and say, who says? Why not? I can do that. Way less capable people than I am have done it. I need to go find them and see how they did it and then model that what they did. And so that is very helpful to to understand that there are people who have already done, maybe not exactly how you want to do it, but they've had success doing that vein of thing, whether it's
Right.
building a coaching business or, parenting a child, any of it. And
Sure.
we can learn from others and how they did it.
So good. Well, I know that we could talk probably for hours, but tell us a little bit about how people can get in contact with you and learn more about how to actually take those steps.
Oh, lovely. Yes, please reach out to me. I am Melissa at ZFG Living. I know the link for a free resource is going to be posted in the notes. Check it out and come find me on Facebook or Instagram. I'm ZFG Living at Instagram and melissatrumble.zfg on Facebook. And I am always posting, and I swear I'm not irritatingly sunshiny, but I do call myself the joy coach, and I'm all about getting people to experience authentic joy every single day. It's possible, believe it or not.
So you can go to that free resource. And if you're listening and not watching right now, the site is zfgliving.com, and that's /free resource /. So
Yeah.
that's where you can find that resource. And just thank you for being here again, Mel. I really appreciate you coming on the show. Any closing thoughts that you'd like to share with the audience?
Absolutely. Whatever it is, whether it's adulting, the free resource, by the way, is Adulting to Joy, or it's challenging yourself to do something different that's out of your comfort zone. We are the creators of our destinies, and we can do things we never even considered.
Mm, love that. Well, thank you again for being with us this evening. And I couldn't be more in agreement with Mel on that last point. There's so much out there for us to really just enjoy. And I love this piece of just living joyfully. So thank you for being here with us and jumping into the joy for a few moments today. If you got something out of this show, please by all means share it out. You never know who else might need to hear this message today. And with that, thank you again, Mel, for being here.
Thank
And I look
you.
forward to being here with all of you again next time. Good night, everyone.
Cheers, y'all.